have your feet either hip width apart or a little wider if you feel like you need a bit more support. And that was a big move to have to get up off of the floor, wasn't it? Yeah, I can see the strain. And we're going to roll our shoulders up, back and down, and continue rolling our shoulders up, back and down, so that we can start to think about pulling the shoulder blades down the back of the body, lifting up through the chest, engaging the core as we do that, and then slowing that whole move down so that the exhale grounds us. So remembering that the grounding through the feet on the exhale, just thinking about the bottoms of your feet and feeling the ground underneath you. Bringing some movement into those shoulders, which very often become quite stiff. And setting those shoulders back. So thinking about the shoulder blades coming down the back of the body, the neck lengthening, and that just does this little lift of the chest, which then engages the core. And then keeping that engagement in that core, inhaling into extended mountain and looking up towards your thumbs. And exhaling those hands down into the centre of the chest. And inhaling again. So allow the breath to guide the movement. So it might be really slow today, it might be really fast. Don't worry too much about how fast I move, that's my breath. Nice, hands coming down to the centre of the chest. And inhaling those hands up overhead again. Looking up towards those thumbs. It's also very grounding. And exhaling those hands down into the centre of the chest. And then pausing here. So making sure we lift that chest so that the thumbs and the chest are meeting. Relaxing the shoulders down, closing your eyes and taking 3 breaths. And here again, just checking in with how you feel today, just landing in the moment. Setting the scene for what you want to achieve from your yoga practice today. And then opening those eyes and inhaling and bringing the hands up. So this time, as we exhale, we're coming into a goddess arm. So starting to engage that upper back a little bit more, opening out through the palms of the hands, bending at the elbows, bringing those hands all the way down, elbows down to ribs, hands all the way down, that's it. And then reaching up again. So feeling that grounding, but also reaching. Big inhale here, and exhale down. So shoulders are set down. Now we're building a bit of strength in that upper back. Good. One more time. Inhaling, reaching up. And opening out through the front of the body as you exhale, bending at those elbows. Nice. All the way down. Lovely. And then doing a quick roll. 3 rolls. Now we're going to do some side bends. So back to that extended mountain. Inhaling and bringing your hands up overhead. The exhale takes you over towards the door, splitting the hands apart. That's it. Inhaling back out. So we do the twists in a little while, but if it feels right to do a twist now, that's totally fine. Exhaling into that side bend. Good. Inhaling up. So now really taking advantage of all that space we've made in the shoulders, and exhaling, reaching. Now that stretch going down the back a little further. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. And one more time on each side. So remember to remain grounded. The inhale brings you up. The exhale takes you over. Maybe on this last one we take a bit more range. And exhaling over. Back up again, and then just gently let those arms float down. Good. Now we're going to do that gentle twist. So shaking everything out. And this is that sort of active twist with the arms hanging. So this twist goes all the way down the body. So you can come up onto one toe as you throw those arms. Big energetic move. If you do this at home, make sure you've got space around you. So the other thing is looking out for light fittings and stuff because you're really doing it so the mountain. And when you're doing this, making sure you don't hurt your fingers by hitting something that's around you. This is really good for getting rid of tension that you might have in your body. Just loosening all the way down the spine. Good. And then slowing it down. Back to centre. And now we're going to do that standing twist. So inhaling and reaching those hands up, and then splitting the hands apart and turning towards the door. Inhale back up to the middle, and exhale the other way. This can also give you lots of information about how your back is feeling. Feeling a bit stiff on one side, you might find that you can go a lot more in one direction than you can in the other. And that's just good to know, and you can kind of measure that against another day maybe when you're not quite as stiff. Lovely. One more time on each side. The inhale brings you to the middle, neck is still long. Exhaling over, reaching all the way to the fingertips. Over to the stage one more time. Beautiful. And then inhale back up to centre. And let the hands fall down. Good. Making sure I follow it faithfully as well so that it goes with the picture that you've got. Alright, so going into some balance now. So if you do need your chair for support, you can take it. And we'll start with the ankle, with the right leg. So we can start with the toe in contact with the ground. Now all that work we've done, all that lifting and the pulling down of the shoulders still stays with us. We bring that with us because that's what's going to keep us stable as we start to balance. If you're feeling stable and secure, you can lift that foot up. The ground is always there if you need it. And you can always take support if you need it. And rotate through the ankle in one direction and the other. And I like to do things efficiently. So this is actually, we're doing two things here. We're mobilising through the ankle, rotating in one direction and then the other, but we're also balancing. So, two for the price of one. You can't argue with that. Good. Oh yes, lots of clicks. Well done. And then let's just shake those legs out and go to the other side. And note how we're building this from the ground up as well now. So, other side. You can totally start with the foot down on the ground if that's where you are more comfortable. Otherwise, lifting up. Now, the hands, do whatever works for you. I do find that kind of reaching just activates the back and gives us access to the core a little bit more. So really reaching into those fingertips, but relaxing the shoulders down just keeps everything nice and active. Good. Well done. Let's go to the other side. Pause and take a breath if you need to. We're just going to move the knee forwards and backwards. Good. And then rotate in the hip. Now you'll know what amount of range here is good for you. You don't have to force it. Just stay within the range that your hips are happy moving at. Good. And swap over to the other side. Lifting through the chest. Taking a little bend and straighten the knee, and then opening through that hip and rotating. So lots going on here. There's a lot of movement while we're standing on one leg, and one of the best things you can do, apart from lifting up through that chest, is look at something that's not going to move. So find something in front of you that's not going to move. That's almost your anchor point, looking at that thing. Good. Let's go to the other side. And we open, so we're going to close now. So going in the other direction. Circling through the hip. Good. Shoulder blades down, neck long. Lots of breath. The worst thing you can do is hold your breath, of course, and then swapping over to the other side. This is all part of the warm-up, but also preparing us to do that beautiful tree pose, which we're going to do. So remembering that the tree pose is a hip opener. So just let's find our feet on the floor again, just shake everything out. And then starting with that right heel on the left ankle. And that sends one foot going in one direction, which then opens the hip out. Now, that's fine if that's where you want to stay. Remember to lift up through the chest. Or if you would like to bring your foot up a little higher, either on the calf or on the thigh, but we avoid the knee. So choose above or below the knee. And then grounding down, choosing where you can feel stable, inhaling up. You can bring your hands together. I advise you to just look at that point in front of you and relax your shoulders down. Take your 3 breaths here. Now it might be that once you're here, you start to feel a bit more stable and you want to have a little play around with where that foot goes. And standing on one leg or balancing doesn't have to be static. You know, you are a living being, so if you're wobbling or if you're making adjustments, that's all great, that's all totally fine. Lovely. Let's land and shake everything out, because it can be quite challenging. Some lovely tree poses there. Taking your support if you need to the other side, and opening the hip to start off with your toes in contact with the ground. Lifting up through the chest. Thanks. And then relaxing those shoulders down, choosing where you're going to put that foot. And inhaling those hands up. And pause with your hands together above you. Keep your neck long, so relax the shoulders down. Gentle breeze. Beautiful trees. Gently swaying. And the breeze. And land. Lovely. Well done. Shaking it all out. Again. And inhaling into a big extended mountain. So a big reach up. We're going to go into a forward fold from here. So we soften through the knees, we send the hips back, the arms come out, and we let the head go. Gently swaying here from side to side, letting the head hang. Feeling that stretch in the lower back. Grounding down through those feet. Nice, lots of breath. Now we're going to come into a halfway lift, because now we're starting our preparation for those pyramid poses. So from here, keeping the knees slightly bent, place your hands onto your shins, and then before you move, pull your shoulders away from your ears, and then inhale. The legs may end up straight. The most important thing is that the back ends up straight here. You want to be able to put a coffee cup maybe on the back of your neck and for it to just be able to sit there. And you'll feel a stretch in the backs of your legs, also in that lower back. Good. And then exhale and fold. Good. Big move now, so take lots of breath. Push away from the floor into extended mountain. So big push big roll, and a big reach. All the way up. And always take that really slowly, because it's very easy to get dizzy doing that one. Nice. And then exhale, let those hands float down. So roll those shoulders up, back and down a few more times. And now we're preparing for that pyramid pose. I'm going to turn myself around so that I can face you to do that. Now coming up to the top of your mats and having your feet hip width apart or a little bit wider. Lovely, grounding yourselves and then stepping your right foot back a half a step, giving yourself a bit of space between the feet so that the hips and shoulders are facing forwards. And you can just bring your hands onto your hips and make sure that those hips and shoulders are facing forwards. Good. And then lift up and pull those shoulder blades down. You can put your hands on your hips if you prefer. Inhale and lift your chest, and 3 breaths here. Exhaling forwards. So gradually getting deeper into the pose. Inhaling up. So that was 1. Turn sideways, you can see it on the video. And exhaling forwards. The hands can, if you prefer, come down to the legs or down to the floor. Blocks are helpful here as well. Inhaling up. And then exhaling down. Now I'm going to take a soft bend in this front knee here, because if it's too intense in the hamstring, you can take a soft bend in that knee. It's up to you. And then holding that pyramid pose for 3 breaths. Staying there. Lovely, feeling that extension out of the neck. It's like the head is reaching towards the front of the room here. Nice. And then inhaling and coming up. Good. Lovely. And then exhale and step back to the front of the mat. Lovely. Inhale, roll those shoulders up, back and down. And then exhale the left foot back. Again, it's that half a step. We take a moment to make sure our hips and shoulders are aligned forwards. And if you do need to take just that little bend in the front knee, just for a bit of comfort, then you can. But push down into the outer edge of that back foot. That's where your stability comes from. So hands wherever you feel comfortable. Inhale and exhale, stretching out of that back, coming as far forwards as feels good for you. And then inhaling up. Think about reaching into the crown of your head. So exhaling and reaching forwards with that crown of the head. All the way from the tailbone. Inhaling back up again. Good. And then one more time, and this time you're going to hold it for 3 breaths. So if you need support, it can look like many different things. Maybe some blocks, maybe the floor, or maybe the legs. But if you do put your hands on your legs, try and avoid the knees. Always avoid putting pressure on your joints. One more breath here. And then we can inhale back up again. And exhale, stepping back into that mountain pose. So we've got S arms that we did before. We're going to do those again. Reaching up as we inhale. And exhaling, opening out. Lovely. So bending at the elbows and pulling down. You want to think about your back muscles here. So think that you're pulling something down with the back muscles. Lovely. Inhaling up and bending at the elbows and pulling down. That's it. And one more time. And I'm aware I'm pulling amazing faces here as well. Pulling down. Reaching up and then pulling down. Nice. So now we made lots of space in the shoulders so that we can do a big reach with the shoulders. So inhale those hands up and reach towards the corners of the room. And then bring the palms together as you exhale behind you and interlace the fingers. Then inhale and lift your chest and exhale and pull down. Now this will open out through the front of the body, through the shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And if you've got a stiff neck or a stiff jaw, you might just want to move that head around a little bit. Doesn't that feel helpful? Yes. Okay, let's unclasp those hands. And inhale those hands up. Nice. And then just let them float down. I'm going to add a little standing twist here. That can be quite intense for the shoulders. Lots of standing poses there that we've done, which is really good. We're going to do a forward fold, and I'm going to give you the option to do a wide-legged forward fold with the hands behind you. So you probably like this one, Elaine, because I know you liked it last time. Please do go sideways on your mat if you want to go super wide. And let's all face towards the stage for that. So if you want to have a go at the moment, otherwise you can just stand with your feet as wide as your mat. And we're looking to get those feet almost parallel. We don't want them turned out. We want them almost parallel, maybe slightly turned in. Good. And then let's reach up with those arms again. So we're making ourselves into a big starfish, making ourselves as big as we can, and hardly ever do this in the world. And then exhale, bringing those hands behind you. So just like we did before, clasping those hands and pulling them down. Opening out through the shoulders. Good. And then taking a soft bend in those knees. Inhaling and lifting your chest. And then exhaling and folding. So here the hands can come up behind you. Going to let the head hang. I'm going to come up out of this and have a look at your beautiful down. So if you want to take a soft bend in the knees, you can. Also, just remembering that when we come out of this, you are going to take a very big breath and you are going to do it very slowly. So just breathing while you're down there, enjoying this pose. And then very slowly on the next inhale, calming up out of it. Just being aware that you might get dizzy and mitigating that. Lovely. And you can all turn to face me again so that you're not looking over your shoulders. So just a quick practical tip here on that. If you are doing forward folds and 10 swans and you are going to feel dizzy, what do you think you're going to do to mitigate the dizziness, the risk of dizziness? Breathing is really good, but the other thing is just get down really low. Because if you're going to fall, you've got less distance to fall. So if you've got your chair to hand, maybe sit down on the chair or just hold on to something. That's normally my strategy, because I get dizzy spells a lot. Let's all grab a drink. It's pretty warm. Are we all okay with temperature? Do I need to put more AC on? A little bit, maybe. Okay, I'll pop a little bit more on for a little while. We're going into our down dog next. So you've got the option to have your chair in front of you, or you can do your down dog on your mat, whichever you prefer. So you choose on that one. I'll just get that set up while I do this. Just sneak in here, you know, tonight with a sleeping bag and a blow-up mattress. So some of you are there already. If you want to come with me, we can inhale into a big extended mountain. You can use the chair and then exhale and bring those hands down. If you've got chair in front of you, bring your hands onto the chair and step back. Otherwise, bring your hands down to the floor, so we're in a forward fold. And then you're going to step back to tabletop position, tuck your toes, and exhale into your down dog. So all of your options on how to get into your down dog. So I'm going to now have a little look at you. So if you've been in that down dog for a little while, because you got into it early and you would like to come down or move around in that pose, you can. This is one of my favourite yoga poses. It can feel quite challenging initially because we're on hands and knees, lots of pressure. Yes, but we can expand through that pose a little bit. That's great, Linda. If you bring your hands a little bit further forwards. Linda, if you bring your hands here, a little bit further. Yes, there you go. And then push the head back. Lovely. Well done. And then come down onto your hands and knees, so tabletop position, and sink down into child's pose. So that can be quite intense for people, which is why I add the child's pose for a little rest afterwards. And of course, the main thing that I think people find challenging with that is the wrists. It can be quite challenging on the wrists. So just pop this in here for you, Roger. So you've got your padding. That is quite a fun scar you've got there, isn't it? On the yeah, chicks dig scars. All right. So I'm going to show you the option for people who might have sensitive wrists. So this is called Dolphin. So if you want to come on up so you can have a look, I know I've shown you this one before, but just going to show you again. It is like down dog, but we're not on the wrist. So we can make a little triangle with our forearms and maybe clench those hands, tuck the toes, and come on up. So we get very similar feeling in the back of the body here. It's just that there's a little bit less intensity on the wrists. It can, however, feel a lot more intense in the upper back. So it is a good option and can be incorporated in your practice. Probably not, no. So down dog on its own is probably not great for sensitive or swollen ankles. Lovely. Well done, everybody. Let's come down to tabletop. And let's do our cats and cows. So, aligning the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Pushing away from the floor with those fingers. Spread and exhaling into cat stretch. And inhaling and lifting your head and lowering the belly. And exhaling into cat stretch. Inhaling into cow. So these poses are really good for the lower back, or for the whole of the back really. Anytime you have a stiff lower back, be it for whatever reason, just a bit of maintenance is a cat and cow. The other thing that you can do with this cat and cow is when you're doing the cow, scoop up through your belly. So think about pulling your ribs and your hips towards each other. And it can then end up being a little bit of a core workout. So moving all the way through the spine in one direction and then the other. Excuse me. Really pushing away from the floor. Good. And then sinking back down into your child's pose again here. So that child's pose is your resting pose, which will look different for everybody. So if you're ready there, Linda, then coming down into child's pose, into your resting pose. With your forehead in contact with the ground. You can relax your elbows down. And take 3 breaths here. So feeling the ground underneath you. Just feeling what your body feels like now after all that lovely movement. And as with the cat and cow being spinal flexion and extension, we're going to take our spine in the other direction. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So reach the arms long and inhale up. You might need to walk your feet back a little bit. And then bring your belly down to the ground. So now we're aligned. And for some people this might be enough. So hands underneath the chin might be enough here. This is the lowest version of this if you have got a sensitive back. Otherwise, you can bring your elbows under your shoulders. Arms can be parallel or you can clasp them. Squeeze your glutes, so that's the bum cheeks, and push that pubic bone down into the floor. Lift up out of the shoulders and look out to the horizon. And really push down into the tops of your feet here as well. This, again, it's a very grounding pose, and it is a back bend, but it's beautifully supported. You can bring your hands underneath your chin there, Karen, that might be enough. And if you'd like to add a little twist, you can inhale, and as you exhale, look over one shoulder, moving the shoulders to one side, inhaling to center, exhaling over to the other side. Beautiful, well done. Don't force it though, don't force it. Inhale back to center, one more time on each side. And then coming back to center. Lovely. And then come back to center and bring those hands where the elbows were. I'm going to do a big move here, big strong move to push back up and come back into the child's pose. So think about what we've just done with the back. We've gone from child's pose, we've gone all the way forwards into Sphinx pose, and then all the way back into child's pose. Very similar to what we do in the cat and cow, but just a bit more intense. Lovely. All right. Now, making sure you've got your chair next to you. We're going to come up to tabletop to start off with. And we're going to do that lunge sequence, which gives us a bit of love for our hips. So bringing, first of all, your right foot forwards and making sure the ankle is under the knee. Good. And then walking those hands up. If you need to hold onto your chair for a bit of stability, you can. The knees are both at roughly 90 degrees. Inhaling, and as you exhale, come forwards. This is going to give us a stretch in the hip flexor. Now, I feel like I'm going to get a cramp in that foot, so I'm just tucking that toe under. You might be more comfortable with the tuck, with the toe tuck, but lift up through the chest. That's it. Try not to lean forwards. Good. And then going backwards, straightening through that front leg. That's it. Hips come back. Lovely. And fingers down to the floor. That is great, Karen. Only go as far as you feel comfortable with. Coming back up again to the center, lifting through the chest, and then coming forward. So I added this as an optional because it might be a bit too much. So you don't have to do it in the video. Lovely. One more time in the other direction. Straightening through that front leg. You can place a pair of blocks here if you need them to bring the floor up, and the nose comes down towards the knee. Gorgeous. And then coming up, taking support and swapping the legs. I'm not going to demo on this side. It's pretty much the same. I'm just going to come round and see if I can offer options. So find that 90-90 position first of all. That's it. Is this chest too far forwards for you? I'm going to move it slightly closer to you. Okay. And that might be enough for you. You might just change it forwards. Everyone else tuck the tailbone under, lift up your chest. And as you exhale, feeling for that stretch in the front of the hip. And you don't have to do this if this is too much for you. You're doing great. Lovely. So going forwards and backwards. The toes can come up. You're looking for stretching the back of the legs and then also the mid flexors. Amazing. Amazing. The knees okay, right? everyone's hips are different, so don't be worrying about what it looks like. Well done. Lovely. And then let's go back down to our tabletop position and come back down into our child's pose. So we're going to do some seated poses next. So just take 2 more breaths in your child's pose. And then come on up and come to sitting, facing me, with your knees bent and your feet about as wide as you want, but a little bit closer, fine for you. And this is our windshield wipers for the hips. So supporting yourself with your hands behind you, and the knees move to the same side, and then they alternate. And as with most of the work that we do, we don't have to go in for very, very strong, lots and lots of range to start off with. You might find after a couple of repetitions that you can go a little bit further. And you might also find that the body just goes, yeah, just hold that there for a little while, it feels nice. Or not, whatever works for you. Don't be surprised if you start travelling across the floor. Pretty normal. And this is option 1, which you can stay with. Option 2, we can progress it if we want to, is for those knees to come over and settle, and then that backhand to come up, and you bring the body forward. And we'll turn this around so you can see. So with that front foot flexed, and this is going to open through one hip and stretch the glute on the other side. So hands can frame the knee, that front knee, that knee, the right knee. You were perfectly fine there, so if you stay there and bring your hands either side, that's it, of the knee. And that might be enough. Or maybe you want to bring your chest down. And that might not work for you, and if so, you'll know immediately. So hands can frame the left knee there, that's it. Lovely. Is this good enough? Lovely. I just can't remember. Yeah, so I'll move it out of the way. Lovely. And then up and over to the other side. So same thing on the other side. This is not mandatory. I mean, nothing is. Everything is just what's right for you. But if this doesn't work for you, you can go back to this. You don't look very comfortable, Liz, so you can totally just go side to side with this. Good. So that's your windshield wipers. And now we're going to come to sitting with our legs in front of us for our seated forward fold. Now you might want to take a block underneath you, which will just help you to lift up a little. But ground down through the sit bones, lift up through the chest. Shoulders come down, keep the neck long. Inhale and lift the chest, and then exhale and slowly fold. And try and avoid coming into a rounded upper back. Think about stretching out of the lower back, and the pyramids that we did have prepared us for this as well, because that was a big stretch in that lower back. Conveniently, once you get to the ends of your legs, you've got these feet that you can hold on to and pull, but if they're still too far away, you can hold on to your legs and pull. We can inhale here and maybe come a little out of it, and we can exhale and come down. So spending a bit of time here, because we're stretching the fascia in the lower back, which is that stretchy, soft tissue, which needs a bit of breath and a bit of patience. Lifting through the chest with an inhale, exhaling and stretching a little further. Now if anything feels really, really uncomfortable, you can come up out of it. You don't have to force this. You will of course be feeling a lot in the backs of the legs as well here. And then inhaling and bringing those hands up. Nice. So we're going to do a seated twist. Inhale and reach those hands up overhead. And let's turn towards the door. So same as we did when we were standing up. The arms reach out. Inhale the hands back up again. Exhale over towards the stage. One more time on each side. Now this is a bit taxing on the core because you've got to keep yourself upright, sitting here. That's it. Up. And then inhale up, and we've got an opportunity for one more seated forward fold. And you might find that after coming into those twists, you might find a bit more space here. You might find that just naturally you can reach just that little bit further. And it isn't about how far you can reach, it's just about getting that stretch in the lower back. Looking good, everybody. And inhale. Come on up. And let's come onto our elbows. Lovely. So have your hands underneath your lower back. Have your knees bent. And we're going to do a little bit of core. So straightening one leg. And lowering it down to just above the floor. And then lifting it back up again. What's that? Yes, try and keep the legs straight if you can.
No.
Ah, lovely. If you would prefer to lie on your back now, you totally can, because you've seen what's happening. Sometimes the shoulders can be a bit unhappy about this. One more time. And then when the knees are in line, we can swap legs. So over to the other side. Gentle leg lifts here. And it is amazing how something so simple can be so challenging for the core. And we're basically using our legs as weights to load that core. Good. You can exhale where it's hard. And inhale to lift. One more time. And then bend the knee and bring your head down to the floor. So let's keep the knees bent. Ground down through your shoulders. Have your palms facing up and your arms reaching along. Moving those knees gently now from side to side, and the head can go in the opposite direction. This is the last move before relaxation. So the breathing, we can inhale and bring the nose and the knees to the middle, and exhale to opposite sides. So you really keep everything slow, because we're coming towards the end of the class here, and we want to take ourselves into a lovely place of relaxation. Everything is moving slowly. Maybe when your head is on one side and your knees are on the other side, you want to pause there. Just feel that lovely twist in the body. And gradually you'll get to the point where you go, okay, I'm done with this now, and you can come into a comfortable position for your relaxation. So, corpse pose, that lying down on your back, or any other position where you are comfortable for relaxation. And if you've got a slightly sensitive lower back, then bending your knees and letting them drop gently in towards each other can be helpful. Allow your head and your shoulders to become heavy and drop down towards the floor. Maybe turn your palms so that they face upwards. And you can focus on your breath. Lovely, loyal breath that we have with us at all times. That will give you a really good idea of how you're feeling right now. Feeling the weight of your hips on the mat, the centre of gravity. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. As you inhale. The 2 points of your shoulders, and the 2 points of your hips, feeling your torso in contact with the ground. The exhale is an opportunity to relax a little bit more. The inhale brings you nourishing breath, oxygen. There's nothing to do. Just be in the moment. Just let go, relax. Feel the waves of sound as they wash over you. Maybe feeling a little bit heavier now. Softening through the skin on your face. Gently parting your lips. Relaxing that jaw. Thinking about the weight of your arms and your legs. The whole of your body is now relaxed, heavy, grounded. grounded. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the room. Maybe just bringing a little bit of gentle movement into your fingers and toes. You can rotate through your wrists and ankles. Maybe you want to take a big stretch overhead, just being aware there might be a chair there. Conscious inhale and exhaling, hugging the knees into your chest, having a gentle roll around in the lower back. No rush. When you're ready, roll over onto your right hand side, have your head supported. Spend a moment there, biceps very conveniently there to support the head. And when you're ready, push your left arm away from the floor, turning yourself to a comfortable seat. Coming back, looking back to the room. And then inhaling and bringing those hands up above your head. Looking towards those thumbs, big stretch. And exhale those hands down into the centre of your chest.